Welcome to Enlightened Trading. I'm your host Conrad, and today we have another look at the crypto market. Well, besides that, we're also going to have a more detailed look at data science done on Bitcoin and a small update on Bitcoin and Ethereum. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so here we are again at Bitcoin's price, and as you can see, we are still wedging sideways. We dipped a little lower yesterday, but what is pretty interesting is that regarding the TD sequential, for example, we are currently sitting on an 8 on a countdown phase, and usually, of course, 9 buys happen after an 8, especially if this vicinity gets hold. Then it's not unlikely that we actually see a 9 buy tomorrow. And this can actually send prices higher here on Bitcoin. On the smaller term time frames, you can see we are taking a little bit up now, again after dipping lower, but it's not too important yet, and we still have to consider that there is still the possibility for this descending triangle. In this ascending triangle, as you can see, we touched now pretty nicely here on the bottom. There is an argument to be made that we actually touched it, and as I said, if we get this 9 by tomorrow, then there is of course the likelihood that we move higher and beyond this trend line, and also going back to the 9500 and maybe even be beyond it. That would be my outlook, of course, if this candle holds in this vicinity or even trades higher. And then there is also a likelihood that tomorrow will not be a 9 buy, and this will actually weaken my outlook over the next few days, maybe even also on the end of the weekend. So but as I said, that is to be still confirmed in the near future. Looking just quickly at Ethereum before going into the data science charts, yeah, you can see we also now touched here on the bottom. We actually wigged a little. No, it fits quite nicely actually. If I leave it like that, you can see, as I said, we wigged down, touched it 2 times actually on 4-hour charging. You can also see we moved sideways mostly, and are now again here at resistance. So there is the possibility for a small ascending triangle here, looking at it like that, but that is still to be confirmed and not yet. In my opinion, the most likely thing, this is still a sideways move after a downwards correction. So, and of course there is strong resistance here at this horizontal level at 236.44. there is a major resistance, so that is still to be broken if this moves higher, of course. But similar to Bitcoin, of course, we are experiencing an 8 here, so tomorrow will most likely be a 9 buy if this candle holds in this vicinity, and also, as you can see, we had a 9 buy here right at the bottom on a 4-hour chart, and as well on a 1-hour chart we also experienced a 9 buy. If it loads, yeah, there it is. We had a 9 buy as well, coinciding with the 4-hour 9 buy. Okay, so that's it for Bitcoin and Ethereum, and now going into the data science. So this is actually a look into Bitcoin here. Definitely make sure you check out this website, and also of course make sure you like the video down below, and of course you subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really does help me out, and of course I appreciate it. So yeah, this is look into Bitcoin. As you can see, there are various charts here, and we're going to take a detailed look at 4 of these at least. And you can see, for example, this is a 200-week moving average heat map, and it usually signs when things start to heat up and when they are usually overbought and oversold. And as you can see here, there are phases of blue going into green, yellow, and then into red. So and yeah, you can also see that we are still only in the blue purple phase. So there's basically nothing really to worry about, similar to what happened right here. And as you can see, how price or if prices climb and the more steep they are climbing, and if they get parabolic, then you can see these heat maps, these colors get into green, yellow, and finally red. This usually signs that of course Bitcoin is overbought, and you should usually stay away from buying or going long on Bitcoin, and maybe even there is possibility to go short, but that is only if you are a more experienced trader. But as you can see, we are still moving sideways here and are also in the blue purple phase, so there's nothing to worry about, and this also signs that there is a large upside potential here. Looking at this chart, and you can usually get a bit more detailed outlook here down below these charts. Okay, similar to what we had just experienced, this is a stock to flow model, and if you want to know more about it, then you can see right here it is nicely explained, so definitely make sure you do so. And yeah, as you can see, these colors, similar to what we just experienced, they go into these phases, and you can see in the bear market, in the last bear market in 2014, 2015, we moved sideways, and then once we broke out, it was in the bluish area, similar to what we happened here. We had just had a more corrective move downwards after it, and not a sideways like we did back here. And I can pull it out a little bit. You can see we moved sideways and then broke out again, so it was more sideways than what we experienced, but that is not too bad. But as you can see, we are now going into the more bright red area, going back up from the brown one, similar to what happened here. As you can see, we broke out, going into the brownish red area, also aligning with the average. As you can see, the stock to flow average here, which then coincided around $500, and then as you can see, steadily moved up once the halvening happened. Usually when the halvening happens, the stock to flow model of course climbs, and the average gets more and more valuable. And as you can see, it will in a few years, in 2023, it will be around $100,000. So of course very nicely an average, but as I said, it's just an average, and the prices usually go below it or just above it, similar to what happened here or what happened here. As you can see, along the bull market, prices stayed below it usually, and then only in the parabolic phase in 2017, late 2017, prices actually moved above the average, got overbought, and into parabolic phase, and then of course corrected it downwards. So this is usually what happens. Similarly, as you can see, we went parabolic here back in the day in 2013, and then came back down, and in 2015 consolidated sideways below the average, similar to what happened here, and then had a move up. And as I said, we're now sitting right on the average. This is not what I wanted to do. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, we're sitting now right at the average, which is, if I zoom in a little bit, the average is now around $11,000, and of course we are sitting here down below at 9,200. So there is still upside potential looking at the average, but usually prices remain below the average until they really start to pick up in momentum, going to the parabolic phase. And the parabolic phase usually starts once these lines again flatten out, and this would now be at early 21, and in April 21 we will see the average flatten out, and then most likely Bitcoin will also go into parabolic phase, and maybe even to 150k, 200k, whatever. But this is usually how these price movement how these price moves work. Yeah, okay, so that's the stock to flow model. A very interesting model in my opinion, and definitely one you should check out. And yeah, you can also see similar to what we just witnessed. Once these moves get extended and go into parabolic phases, you can see these huge spikes in the MVRC score. This is a market cap. You can see it's a market cap minus the realized cap, and divided by that's actually a good question. The steady devised market cap USD. I don't know. I actually don't know what that usually means. Standard deviation, right? Divided by the standard deviation, of course. So yeah, and as you can see, these get really extended here at the high. So very nice indicator. Looking at overbought territories, and also here down below, once we get oversold, the indicator also remains here down below. So there were some nice buy signals looking at this indicator, and as you can see, we are far away from being overbought. So as I said, there is still a lot of upside potential. And what I just want to mention quickly in the end is that, for example, the Bitcoin logarithmic growth curves, there is still some lag looking at these models. And for example, if we pull out this phase, you can see we dipped below the logarithmic growth curves as Bitcoin dropped down to 4K. We also drop here below the growth curves. This of course usually should not happen. So yeah, these indicators and these data science models still lack in validity in some areas, but usually are pretty trustworthy. Okay, so that's it for today's video. Hope you get something out of it. If you did, definitely make sure you like the video down below, and of course you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also make sure you follow me here at EnlightenedTrading, at my Instagram page for some funny content and some memes. Okay, so that's it for today's video, and I'll see you guys and girls, you people, back next time. Bye.